All right, welcome back to CUSA All Access, the unofficial Conference USA podcast, delivered by us here, MTN Sports. Next to me is Mr. Ryan Martinovich and Mr. Matt Hayden, aka Baby Gator, and we're ready to recap another week of Conference USA action here on a special Wednesday edition of the show. And it's good to have Ryan back. Ryan and Matt, are you guys ready to go tonight?
Let's just get on with it. Absolutely.
I'm excited. Let's get rocking and rolling.
All right. So, did you guys see the game last night? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was going to say, who didn't see the game last night?
Yeah. So, what did we think?
I think let me start. After my humongous rant last week, I like the improvement, but I need more. I'm not going to take one win as a, that's a pat on the back. 2-5. Is that what we want to be excited about? Absolutely not. It's a step in the right direction, but I'm not just going to congratulate you over one win. And I get it's an in-conference win, but no, I need to see more. Plain and simple. I need to see more.
I'm kind of with Matt. I do think there is some things to be excited for down the line, but yeah, we're sitting at you're sitting at 2-5 on the season, and a game that you were favored to, which I was shocked at that fact that the Blue Raiders were a 3-point favorite after what we saw last week.
Yes.
And we saw Hank Bachmeier, who had been dealing with a shoulder injury, kind of come off the bench, replace Jack Turner. It kind of got the offense rolling for La Tech, but it really still wasn't enough. Defensively, there wasn't a fourth quarter or even a third quarter slump for the Blue Raiders. They were able to maintain their momentum coming out of the half, maintain that lead. They didn't falter away from any kind of strategy. They were able to put together four full quarters of a game, which hasn't really been done at their home field.
Not really, no.
This entire season, except for Murray State. They gave up a big lead against Colorado State, gave up a big lead to Jacksonville State coming out of the second half. But it is still at least some progress and something to look forward to next week when you got to play Liberty on the road.
I think it's positive. I mean, I think it's beneficial. I know there were a lot of upset people, we'll say, across Murfreesboro this past week. I think everyone knows kind of what the controversies have been. And you can see Mr. Matt is pointing to himself over there, which, it's true. There are a lot of upset people. And it's been a problem that people have noticed. But I will say this. I think this was a phenomenal return performance by the Raiders. And I think it's a step in the right direction. Now, I think we can all admit that there are issues that this team has. That is something we can all see. But the important thing is that they came out, like you mentioned, they played a full four-quarter performance. They were there from start to finish, playing as well as they could, and finding a way, most importantly, to get the victory. Nick Fadiato, I said on Blue Raider Extra Point that he needed to be efficient. He was. 23 for 29, 248, 2 tutties. Very nice by him. And I think unlike last Wednesday against Jacksonville State, he did not let the pressure get to him, especially in the second half. We saw they gave up 4 turnovers to the Gamecocks. Yeah. They gave up 38 unanswered points. Well, this time they found a way to mitigate that. And one of the biggest things I was impressed by, they took away Smoke Harris in a large part of this game. He was still effective. He got his 129 yards. But when it came down to it, when it mattered the most, when he was trying to score, the defense found a way to turn him away. And that was something that I said, and well, I think all of us said, in some capacity, had to be done. So they accomplished that task. They got the victory, and the whole team looked solid. And you got to remember, this is with a few injuries too. And Trey Fluellen did not play in the first half, and they still were able to pull this off. So I think that you've got to give kudos to the Blue Raiders. They found a way to get this win, and hey, who knows? It's a long season, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be seeing the Raiders going bowling.
Well, speaking of last season, I mean, this is a similar predicament that the Blue Raiders found themselves before they went on winning 5 of the last 6 games to get to bowl eligibility and wound up taking down a San Diego State team that was, a predominant force in the Mountain West last year out west, but still 2-5, and you have a crucial game on the road, like I said, against Liberty. And when you're a pass-happy team going in against a Flame defense that leads the league in turnovers, especially interceptions, that's going to be something you have to look for when you're reviewing tape in your locker room, in your meetings, and of course when you're practicing down the road here. So it's something that they're going to have to keep their eye out if they want to pull off that upset on the road, because they're probably going to be a 2-touchdown underdog at the best going into Lynchburg.
Yeah, it's going to be a steep hill to climb there for the game against Liberty, but something that I wanted to highlight was the ability to stay strong, especially on special teams, is holding Smoke Harris. Really, especially on the punt coverage, was keeping him from pretty much a fair catch or a short gain. Not letting, have the short field advantage, didn't have any turnovers. And so that really helps your defense in the long end. Because, if you look at it, you had 2 turnovers pretty much simultaneously against Jack State. You had the pick on the little screen pass, and then you had the fumble, the strip sack that led to one a defensive touchdown and one to a short fielded situation for the Gamecocks.
Yeah,
and that's huge. You can't fault the defense. You can't expect your defense to make a short fielded stop every time. It's not going to be successful. And then a huge play was coming out of the half. A Trey Llewellyn getting that pick at the goal line was pretty
legendary.
It was a big pick because that takes 7 off the board potentially, and then gives your team the advantage to wind this clock down. And it just really was a overall good team win. I kind of wanted a little bit more out of the run game. I really, 105 total yards is not bad, but that's, sprinkled across, Jaden Krettel, Vadiato also scrambling out. And just overall, I wanted a little bit more. I think the Bulldogs' run defense was ranks near the bottom of Conference USA in yards allowed. So I kind of expected a little bit more, but again, you can't expect perfection. But I did like what I see from Vadiato. Looked very poised in the pocket. Only 6 incomplete passes on the night. No interceptions. Was, standing tall in the pocket. I really liked what I saw. But also from the Bulldog standpoint, I really liked what I saw out of Bachmeier coming off the shoulder injury. Mm-hmm. He also looked really good, filling in for Jack Turner there.
He was
later on in the game.
Too.
Again, solid night. Didn't throw a pick. Had almost 200 yards passing as well. So overall, that's a really good performance coming off an injury. And, he was a big factor of the team early on before he went down. And, give Jack Turner his props because he did really well in the games that he had to fill in with. But again, just overall solid from what I saw. And, you got to find the positives and ride with it. And if you want to go bowling later on in the year, you got to keep it going. You can't just stop here. You can't get comfortable. And I think that's why they lost Jack State. And I said that on Brep, that they played like they were not trying to lose. They weren't playing to win. They were playing scared, but also playing like they did not want to lose, and which are 2 different things. If you play to win, you're playing aggressive. You're still, trying to find every first down. You were fighting for everything. They were just looking like, we have this big of the lead. Why do we even care? So.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I think I like that. You seem a little bit more positive this week between you and Jay Standrich on Sports Ball, and I think we're making some ground on getting you guys back on the side of the Raiders. So, love to see that, and I do want to tell a quick story because I got to see some members of the team last night after the game was over, and Trey Llewellyn, man, he was hyped. He came up, he was high-fiving everybody. He came up and high-fived me. He high-fived Wayne from WGNS, spotter Chip Walters, cool guy. And, I mean, the team, honestly, from what I could tell, they looked hyped, they looked excited, and they looked like a weight had been lifted off their shoulders. I think that this team now believes in themselves, they're confident, they know what they have to do to get a victory, and that, to me, is half the battle, is believing in yourself, believing in the vision that you guys have cultivated. And I think that moving on, if they keep playing in that capacity, they will be a team that can win a lot of these games, because you look at the remainder of their schedule, a lot of the hard opponents are out of the way. Liberty's obviously the toughest game left on their schedule, but you got, I think, UTEP, New Mexico State, to name a couple. Sam Houston's coming up at the end of the season. FIU, I think, is another one they're going to play. So these are, in my opinion, winnable games that MTSU can use to their advantage and potentially pole vault their way into a bowl game. So I'm just saying, I think that Raiders Nation, let's ride.
Well, you mentioned the schedule gets easier down. It's a downhill slate pretty much after Liberty, but you still have to pretty much be near perfect to get yourself in that position where you can find yourself in a bowl game. So absolutely something to be proud of and hyped about, but it's still an uphill climb.
It's an uphill climb. It is.
Well, I want to be excited. I want to see us succeed, especially with this being my last year as a student. watching, MTSU football. I want to see, improvement. I want to see a great end to the season. But at the end of the day, I'm afraid that if, say, I'm saying we drop Liberty. All right, you're dropping to 2-6 there. New Mexico State, if you win, there's 3-6. FIU 4-6, 5-6, and then you're 6-6. You're gonna be like, but we won 4 in-conference games in a row at the end. Yes, that's good, but I want more. We should not be in the situation where we're being happy for 500. I after those 2 SEC games, I get Alabama. We're paid to lose. I'm sorry. If no matter how big of a Blue Raiders fan, it was a game that you were going to lose. And then you play Missouri, you lose by less than a touchdown.
You fought hard against them.
You lose to less than a touchdown, and then you come home and handle business against Murray State. You expected high expectations, and then you rattle off 3 terrible losses. It doesn't fix the problem. The damage is already done. A 500 season does not fix that problem. I need to see more. I need to see a big statement win here. I need to see a big upset against Liberty here. I want you to keep this momentum high, and if you can beat Liberty, sign me up for the bandwagon. I'll jump right back on it. I need a big time win. I get La Tech is a solid team. They're middle of the pack. They're 3-5 now, so they're pretty much on par with MTSU. You should have beat Jack State. You should have beat Colorado State. You potentially should have beat Missouri. There was a lot of games you left on the table, and a 500 season does not fix it. Case closed, plain and simple.
All right, so I guess that's your statement on it. So let's clarify this just to make sure. For MTSU to get you back on the bandwagon, they need to beat Liberty. That's going to be a big part of it, right?
Yep. I need something big. I'm not taking mediocrity anymore. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the players that if you're playing for mediocrity, that's not how you have a good culture. That is not good. Do you think these professional teams, man, I can't wait to go 8-8. I can't wait to go 81-81. I can't wait to go 41-41 if you're playing in the NBA. No, they play to win big games. They play to play in championships. They play for this isn't the professionals. You can't tank. What are you going to tank for? A recruiting class? No, you can't tank for a recruiting class. If you want a good recruiting class, you win. That's how you get people to play for your program. You need to win, and you need to prove to them that you are a winning culture and they can succeed in your program. Plain and simple, I need a big-time win here this season if you want any sort of acceptance from me.
Well, I mean, there you go. I guess that's the opinion at the end of the day. So I'm going to be interested to see our next episode. If MTSU, depending on if they win or lose against Liberty, what kind of talk we'll be having on the next one. But, guys, there was another game last night, and it did feature the team we're going to be playing. They look like they're unstoppable right now. I mean, from what I saw, they took care of business.
No, they're the all-around team. They have a tremendous defense that bested a controlling offense in Jacksonville State. Holding them to only 13 points. Malik Jackson, their star running back, wasn't really a factor, picking off both Zion Webb and Logan Smothers twice. And then Caden Salter throwing 2 touchdowns, 420 yards total, which is actually below their standard, but still enough to put up 31 points and find themselves in clear control that entire game pretty much after the first quarter. Jacksonville State was still around. It was a 3-point game. However, the Flames just ran away with it. And they are looking like one of the best, if not maybe the best, group of 5 team.
I think that's fair.
And maybe with competition from Air Force, the Air Force Academy.
Because
both teams, the Air Force and Liberty are undefeated right now. And so they are trying to make their case for getting that New Year 6 bid. So, but cool. I do think Liberty is pretty much showing why they are the best CUSA team right now.
All right. I mean, can we say they are in fuego?
No.
No?
No, that's just you, bud.
That's
just you.
Just me. Well, I will say I did see this part of this game, or at least I watched back the highlights. I wasn't watching it live because I was at the MTSU game. But I got to say what I really liked about this game is that Salter, although he had a big impact, he was somewhat limited in the first half. But Liberty did a very smart thing. I love what head coach Jamie Chadwell did. he decided to emphasize the running game a lot. And Quentin Cooley, 163 yards, 28 carries, and 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
Very, very impressive. And then late, Salter puts the hammer down. He got a couple of deep passing touchdowns over that Jacksonville State defense, and they limited the Jacksonville State running game. And I think we've said, both on Brep and here, that if you take away Jacksonville State's running game, they're not going to be the same team. MTSU somewhat did this in their game last week as well, in the first half at least. And I think that Liberty saw that, or maybe saw something else, and they put that to use, and they just flat out dominated Jacksonville State at the end. Jacksonville State was hanging with them early, but Liberty found it, they adjusted, and they got the win. And to me, they're the team in CUSA, and they're going to be a hefty challenge for Middle Tennessee next week in Lynchburg.
Yeah, and you mentioned that offense. I mean, we've seen it time and time again with Chadwick because he's coming from Coastal Carolina, and it's that same offense system that he brings from the Chanticleers. You know, that heavy motion off the edges with the slot receivers, or two-back sets, and really it's almost a variation of a triple option where you use a lot of RPOs, and if the box is in your favor, you're going to run the ball down their throats until they decide that we have to stack up more, and then that leaves a lot of man-to-man opportunities, and you can try to cut off that out-of-bounds territory right there and hit that slant or hit that vertical up the seam, and you can't stop it. It's a difficult offense to prepare for. It's a difficult offense to stop because it's constantly changing and evolving throughout the game.
Coach Stock's going to have to be ready for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm holding high, expectations for the Blue Raiders. I've said it plenty of times. If they say there's no moral victories in sports, and especially when you're 2-5, you really can't rely on moral victories. I mean, if you were just playing out like you're just not, this isn't the team for this year, you take your moral victories. But the thing is, for you to be able to gather the fans back, because I know a lot of people are abandoning. I mean, Twitter is in an uproar. They're asking for everybody to be fired. I know they tell us, don't look at Twitter, don't listen to. I get it. But if you're a player, I guarantee you see it and you feel it. You want your fan base to be behind you.
Nobody likes criticism.
Exactly. No matter if you're doing media, no matter if you're a singer, no matter if you are an athlete, you don't like criticism from someone that doesn't hold any power to you. And I get it that there are plenty of MT fans on, Twitter and on the internet that are calling for, everybody to be fired. I want the whole team. Look, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just not. So what you have to do is, if you're the Blue Raiders, is to clear out all the noise. I know that's probably preach, but you have to clear out all the noise. You don't listen to what you see on Twitter. Don't let it get to you. You focus one game at a time. You play with the people in front of you. You play with your, 110%. That's what every guy on that team is doing. And I just want to see a solid game. Because, look, Sam Houston was able to go toe-to-toe almost with Liberty.
They were.
And Sam Houston has been very, very bad. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just keeping it real. Sam Houston has not. The only impressive thing they've shown is their defense can play a solid football game, but their offense has been very lackluster. And Keegan Shoemaker is now starting to get it together there, and they're starting to get their offense going, but they sit at 0-5, and they have been probably the best game that Liberty has played. So why can't MTSU do the same? Why can't MTSU also play the same, intensities, the same level that Sam Houston played? If you're MTSU, you ride this win that you just got against the Bulldogs, ride it as high as you can. You take every energy you can. And if that doesn't excite you, that you are finally getting this weight off your shoulders after starting the season 1-5, then I don't know how. Because this is your time to shine. This is to show people that we are legit, and we can still turn our, momentum around.
Love the passion, I must say. Although I don't think Dan would appreciate your Sam Houston take. You know how he is about his former FCS teams. But all that considered, our man Dan, we hope he's watching and having a good time with all this. But yeah, more Weekdays USA action tonight. I think as we're speaking, right? It's we got, let's see, FIU and UTEP.
Yeah.
And
UTEP's
then
winning, I think.
New Mexico State and Sam Houston. So maybe Sam Houston gets the first win tonight. I think it's in Huntsville, right?
No, it's in New Mexico.
Oh, it's in Las Cruces.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So
UTEP is up 21-0 in the second.
really,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we speak, 21-0.
Yep.
Man, I did not see that one coming.
Call that one. 21. Yep.
Did you picked FIU?
I
didn't
did.
you?
Oh no, I picked UTEP. I picked
Oh, you
the
picked
Miners.
UTEP, my bad.
You
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
all picked the Panthers to win.
Yeah, that did not age well.
Well, there's still a lot of football. There's still plenty of football to play, so don't.
Yeah. And Gavin Hardison didn't start. They went with sophomore Cade McConnell.
Yeah.
Huh.
So they switched it up, but looks like it's going for the best of them. And UTEP has the ball in FIU territory right now, and still up 21-0. So
Well done. I mean, there you go. Sometimes all you need is a new player to just completely reinvigorate that offense. and
especially it's the
here we
quarterback
go again.
position.
So I did hear that you guys had a fun weekend, right? You want to talk a little about your escapades? Is that escapades? Yes, your escapades that you guys had over this past weekend.
I wouldn't call it an escapade. I'd just call it calling volleyball.
Yeah.
But
It is
I
an
mean, we got to see the Blue Raiders volleyball team up close, calling it on Saturday against Sam Houston. The Bearcats traveling in, and both matches, Saturday and Sunday, MT took care of business. Both games, sweeping the Bearcats out. Kayla Henley looked great. Adria Rhoda having a great sophomore season. Kaylee Oscarson reaching 100 solo blocks in her career. It was just a total handling of Sam Houston. Now, Sam Houston was coming in at 7-12 on the season, still trying to find their footing in CUSA. But they also, Hannah Baker was a great defensive player for them at the libero spot, leading CUSA in digs per set and total digs. She was hard to get any points through. I mean, if you were hitting the ball in her general direction, she was going to dig it out or pancake it up.
Yeah.
So it was tough to find any kind of points around there for the Blue Raiders. But overall, it was still a heck of a match despite them getting swept.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to call. That was actually my first time ever calling volleyball, and so it was a great atmosphere. Just another, was a great opportunity for me. I really enjoyed it, and honestly, I saw some excellent play. Kind of was, in awe at times in the watching the game. I think Kaylee Oscarson had 10 blocks and one on that Saturday game that we called.
2 solos and then 8 that were assisted.
So yeah, and then the offense was, I think we had Henley I think had 8. It's right here. Henley had 8 kills on Saturday. Rhoda had 7. Deja Smith had 6. So it was just a great offensive showcase for MT. But also I saw a lot of positives from Sam Houston. I just felt like their main problem was with all the errors. I mean, they had a negative shot percentage for the whole time. So just a lot of errors that they just couldn't overcome. Garcia Rosa for Sam Houston still shined on the offensive side. Same with Mackenzie Morvant. So 2 bright spots there. So again, it was just a great opportunity. And if you haven't had the chance, I would definitely recommend going catch a game down at Alumni Memorial Gym. The atmosphere there was pretty intense. I was kind of caught off guard a little bit. I was like, man, they brought the house. Like, I've watched, it's different when you watch it on television or watch it on ESPN Plus. You really can't, achieve that. But it felt like it was a cram-packed, it was loud. Like, at times where it was just like, I couldn't even hear sometimes my own thoughts at times. I was like,
Wow.
It got pretty loud, and it was, that's even, you had plenty of, that was even on college football day. Like, I think Kentucky and Georgia were playing right when the game was about to start, and Bama and Texas A&M were playing right before it. So, even for just as much that was going on, it was a great time, great atmosphere. Definitely would recommend catching a game if you can.
Rhoda Henley looked like beast in that game. I mean, they were dominating. I love how they play in front of the net. I'm not as well versed in the volleyball team as you two, but I will say I love the way they just kind of dominate opponents with the height on the front of the net and the power which they hit the ball. It's very, very impressive. I mean, you can tell they know how to play volleyball, they know the scheme, they know the system, and they've bought into what Chuck Crawford has given to them. And they're making noise in CUSA. This is a big win over Sam Houston, and their home record, are they unbeaten at home currently?
I think so. That or one loss.
Because I was trying to think, I can't recall that they've lost a game yet. At home, at least.
I mean, give me a minute. I could probably get a little.
We'll have to go to the old bank, the research bank, to see what we can find here.
Give me 1 minute.
Either
here.
way, but no, you mentioned Rhoda and Henley. I mean, they are 1 and 2 in kills on the season for the team. They both are top 7 in CUSA standings in kills per set. So they're offensive leaders. And of course, Henley's been on this team. This is her 5th year now. She is one of the team captains. She is the leader. She is someone that the team surrounds themselves around for leadership both on and off the court. And someone that Coach Crawford is just grateful to have leading the team, along with Taylor Isert and Deja Smith.
Yeah.
These players that have bought into his program, have bought into the Blue Raider tradition on the court. And turned the program around significantly. Looking to have another winning season this year. Try to fight their way into the Conference USA tournament. Still behind New Mexico State in the standings, and of course Western Kentucky, who is undefeated currently in CUSA, who has been receiving votes in the top 25, and they are pretty much just on the outside of that top 25 list, led by Paige Briggs and Kennedy Coyle and Kaylee Bauer. 3 players from last year's squad that almost won the CUSA tournament last year. Got beaten by Rice, a great Rice team before. Now, of course, they're in the American Athletic Conference.
Yep.
But yeah, it's looking great for Blue Raider volleyball. Right now tied with UTEP, who is coming off I think they won both games against FIU, and they're tied for 3rd right now with MT at 5-3 in CUSA. So it's going to be great to see when those two teams play later down the road. Yeah,
there's a lot of exciting matchups coming up, and you talked a little about Western Kentucky. I mean, 16-4, 6-0 in CUSA play. You talked a lot about Paige Briggs.
Yep.
I mean, she's got more kills than almost anyone in the conference, I think. Right? She's right up there, 268. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Katie Howard, 31 service aces, really good player as well. To me, that WKU team, they're going to be. I mean, obviously they're the team to beat, as you mentioned. They're 10-0 in their last several matches. They really haven't been challenged. They cut it close against Liberty, I think. There was a 3-2 game in the mix there, but they are going to be very tough to beat just because of their play style, the way they handle business, and the amount of talent that they've got on that team. So they're going to be really impressive. But Middle has not played them yet, right? They still have to go to Bowling Green. That's going to be a fun one.
And actually, they come
here.
That's
the last.
Yeah,
that's the
right.
last 2 games of before the tournament.
Gotcha.
And to answer the home, they actually have not lost a game at home. They've only dropped a 1 set against Liberty so far, and that's including the exhibition early on in the season. I think it was against Evansville, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm like looking ahead at the schedule. They play. Let's see here.
Louisiana Tech on the road.
Yeah, La Tech is on the road, and then they play UNC Asheville here, and then welcome the Miners right before Halloween, and then they go to Jacksonville to play Jack State on the 3rd and 4th of November to finish out the season. November 9th and November 10th they play. So it looks like November 9th I might have to leave class early because it's at 5 p.m. Love you, Dr. E, by the way.
You better take it up with Dr. E.
But yeah, I'll get my sign ready for the sporting events because I'll be a cheerleader there. Playing. I'm not on the cheer team, but I'll be a big cheer. But that's definitely going to be an electric game. Definitely could be who knows? They steal a game or 2, or they steal both games. Could be high momentum heading into that conference tournament just right around the corner. So interesting to see how the season finishes out. But yeah, it was definitely a great time being on the call for the Saturday game against Sam Houston.
I love the preparation you two had. I know you were watching a lot of the Ryan's calls over there, and it's cool watching you guys up there on the ESPN Plus with the truck production. And if you haven't seen it, tune in. It's really, really good, and you will have a couple more opportunities right before the season's up to call some stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there hopefully for the UTEP and WKU games on the weekends. So those are the last 4 that I know of.
Yeah, sorry, Bob. I don't know if I want to be on the call for the WKU games. I might be a little too excited to be a fan out there. But yeah, I mean, I definitely got to give credit to Ryan here. He really helped me. Was able to give me some pointers. Watching his broadcast really helped me learn the sport, in a more analytical way, and able to, actually, dissect what exactly is going on. And it's definitely funny enough. I have a lot of people. I was telling people, like, I have a family that comes in at my work, and they were like, so when are you gonna? I was like, what sports are you calling this year? I was like, oh, I've heard that I potentially might be on some volleyball broadcasts, and they're a big volleyball family. Like they have some children that play volleyball, and that was funny. And they were like, man, the 1 week we didn't go, you were on the call. I was like, well, you can always go back on ESPN Plus and watch it. But yeah, it was definitely a fun time, and some of the kids that I coach in softball also play volleyball. So they were like, I was like, all right, you guys know I know softball, but
yeah,
volleyball, I'm gonna have to, dust up on the old knowledge a little bit more. But yeah, it was fun. I had a blast, and definitely, if given the opportunity, I might do it again. Just maybe not for.
Recruit those players to MTSU, by the way.
I tried. Hey, I tried to do that. That's funny. Funny you say about recruiting is my sister plays for my local high school, and we actually just had a recruit from my local high school for the softball team. I want to make sure I say her name correctly. I want to give her all the credit. So please give me 1 minute here. But yeah, Adeze. I can't think of her last name right now, but we congrats to her. She's a junior actually who's committed to MTSU. So I saw a lot of commits for Coach Breeden and Coach Mead heading, for their season ahead. So huge congratulations to all those players out there. But I definitely, try to sprinkle in some MTSU recruiting there while I'm playing. But yeah, I had a great time. Appreciate it.
Hey, never hurts to be true blue. I mean, you guys know that as well as I do. So, cool stuff from the volleyball court this weekend. So I do want to talk a little bit, if, we bring this up, but I want to talk about football. Can we talk about some soccer?
I mean, you're the man on the...
Stop it.
Yeah, you're the man on the call, right. So you're our inside scoop. So what's been the whole ordeal with the Lady Raiders in the soccer field?
Yes, so let me give a quick report. They played on Sunday against Sam Houston. Big match in Conference USA. They were looking to get their first Conference USA victory of the year, and they almost had it. It was very, very close. Actually, one of the better games that I've seen all season. Back and forth, a lot of exciting action. But I actually want to give a lot of credits to Sam Houston here, because I love the way Middle played, but Sam Houston really impressed me. Their head coach, Sonia Carvello, did a great job. She is a believer, you can tell, in the transfer portal, because where this team was a couple years ago to where they are now is an entirely different roster. They brought in a lot of people from the SWAC, Deion Sanders' former home, if you might remember. So if you're familiar with the SWAC, they brought in some SWAC players. They had Andrea Nugent from Prairie View A&M, two-time SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. They had Tiana Johnson, former SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. And their head coach, Sonia Carvello, was from Prairie View A&M. She'd also coached at Cleveland State and Mississippi Valley State. So she's been around the block a little bit. And this team did a really good job of taking it to the Blue Raiders' back line. Because in the first half, I felt like Middle Tennessee was kind of having their way with Sam Houston's defense, and especially that defense was kind of, maybe, for lack of a better term, bullying the Sam Houston offense and taking the ball away, picking the pocket, all of that. But in the second half, Carvello and that team made a great adjustment. They looked at what Middle Tennessee was doing. They looked at how do we limit the offense and get past that defense, and the strategy was to basically just stick to them like stink on mud is the best way that I can describe it. And that's what they did. And it worked because Middle Tennessee was just so pressured that it was hard to get efficient pass lanes and pass the ball the way they wanted to. And getting those goals was way tougher in the second half. Now, they did get a penalty kick goal, which was weird. We had 2 PKs. We hadn't had a single one of those all year long.
Really?
Yeah, at least not at D.N.A. Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium until this match. We hit 2 in the same match. I was like, wait, is this a penalty kick? Did I get that right? Because I've been waiting all year, and then it finally happened. I was like, wow, we actually saw it. So it was kind of a disbelief moment, kind of like when Mario Cristobal refused to kneel the ball for the Hurricanes. But we're not going to get into that. That's another thing. But I'm still frustrated about that one, man. Yeah, I see you laughing over there. Yeah, well, anyway, good stuff from MTSU soccer, but credit to Sam Houston. And yeah, go ahead, say your thing about MTSU, you want to, and Miami. Go ahead.
Why run the ball? What was like? I know this is completely off topic, but what were you trying to succeed? You had the game won. Do they have a thing against kneeling the football? Like,
well, the thing is, Cristobal's done it before. He did it in the Oregon-Stanford game in 2018. Refuses to kneel the football, and it gets fumbled, and we lose.
that's like some Miracle at the Meadowlands type, like,
Yes.
blunder there.
It's amazing we haven't learned a lesson from the 1970s. Wow.
I can't believe it. It's probably when I saw that, my jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, "There's no way he'll lose this football game."
Well, it's funny. We talk about the Miracle at the Meadowlands, and all that really did. It's not necessarily that it's a learning response. It's just, okay, we're just gonna have one guy stand 15 to 20 yards back behind everybody else, just in case.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily about kneeling. It's just about making sure that someone is, back there in case something bad happens. And unfortunately, nothing bad happened behind the line of scrimmage. It's what happened that
In
when the
front of the line
running
of
back
scrimmage.
went across the line of scrimmage.
Just fell. If you want to run the ball, like something that I was questioning, I'm like, why are we taking this kneel from shotgun for Nick Vattiato? But luckily, it did not happen in the way that Mario Cristobal did. Even if you want to run the ball, what were you trying to do? Did he have an over-under on some rushing yards there for a parlay or something? I was like, what are we doing here?
The rumor, I think, is that Chaney, the running back, was close to 100 yards, and they wanted to try to give him the yardage. So that's what I've heard. And, well, you saw what happened. I pray, please, let's not see anything like that in Conference USA, because no fan of any team should have to go through the torment that was provided. But, I realize there is one good thing as a Hurricanes fan that I can take away from this. Everyone before them was talking about how this Hurricanes team has made a great rebound, but because remember last year they lost to Middle Tennessee. Now it's going to be, hey, this is the Hurricanes team. Remember, they didn't kneel the football to win the game. So, off topic, but Miami just keeps finding new ways to lose. What are we were talking about soccer. Gosh,
Yeah.
we've gone completely off the rails. Sorry.
Well, you guys did. I was just here letting it happen.
I just laughed. I mean,
I felt like, I don't know.
Oh, you did. You better bring it on yourself. I mean,
I brought it on
You
myself.
decided to make the analogy for no reason, so
It's just, it frustrates me. I go into a blind rage. But anyway, my inner frustrations as a Hurricanes fan aside. Good stuff overall in CUSA soccer. By the way, New Mexico State, really good looking team right now. I think that they are the team to beat in Conference USA. Logan McNeese, 27 shots, 13 shots on goal, 5 goals total. You got Bianca Chakan, who has been a beast, 15 points overall, leads the team. I think that they are the team to beat right now in Conference USA. We'll see how it works out. Their one problem, their goalkeeper situation. All 3 of their keepers are either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So in a lot of these matches, they're giving up a lot of goals. They gave up 2 to Middle Tennessee, and they gave up 3 to Louisiana Tech. So they've got to find a way to limit the goals that these teams are scoring, or it could come back to bite them. So
are they still winning or at least tying the matches, though? I mean, what happened with that, what was that one they gave up 3 goals on?
the Louisiana Tech match.
Did they tie it? Did they win it?
They did
lose?
win 4-3.
All right, so as long as your offense, I mean, look.
That's true.
If there's one thing that you gotta learn as a coach, that it really doesn't matter how many goals you give up. It just matters that you score more goals than that,
That's true.
right? So how do you win games? You win more points than the other. You score more points than the other team. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, no, you're right. Not having, some veterans at that position,
Yep.
it's certainly going to hinder you down the line, especially maybe on road matches. However, it doesn't matter if you're kicking the goal into the opponent's net more than they are into yours.
That's true.
So-
That's true. I mean, can't argue with that logic. You play to win the match, and hey, if you score more goals, you win the match. So hey, there you go. Just keep doing that, New Mexico State. But gonna be fun, much like volleyball, watching how it all shakes out at the end. So good times on that end. I do want to say this because Middle Tennessee plays not Sam Houston. We play UTEP tomorrow night at Thursday night. I'm going to be on the call again. Looking forward to it. I'll be with the truck crew, so excited with that. Media Arts should be a fun time. 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus if anyone is interested. So take a look. Middle Tennessee soccer. It's legit. It's fun, and Conference USA is a fun conference to watch this year. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But any other sports topics we want to get into here?
I know softball's finishing up their fall season exhibitions. I've seen a lot of great points to look forward to. I know we all were, questioning what's this team going to look like with losing a lot of key players. But from what I've seen, in person, and from what I've seen, in the tapes that I've been watching, I feel like this team, it feels like it hasn't skipped a beat. I mean, in all their exhibitions, they've handled business. Not against lower end talent. It's not against their CUSA opponents. It's, you're playing. I think they played Lipscomb, Fall State. They've played Sneed State. They played Trevecca.
Walter State,
who they tied with. But they've handled business. I mean, that's what makes the good teams good. This isn't like a prove me. This is just trying to see what we have heading into the season. And from what I've seen, you have to be pretty well prepared for it. It's a long season, and there's a lot of pieces that you can look at. A big bright spot that I've seen has been Julia Garcia. Her offense has been up to has been the big motor of that offense.
Yeah,
I think almost has like 10 RBIs on the season. And they scored, let's see, I think it was like 19-1 against Sneed State.
Yeah, wrecked them.
So, and it's just, you still have a lot of great pieces on the team. You have 9 players on the field for a reason. Baseball in softball are not sports that if you have one good player, yeah, it helps, but you need all 9 players to succeed.
Yep.
And I feel that this team still has the ability to be a top-end talent team come into the conference. Because once again, all the people that gave them problems have all left the conference. I mean, looking at it, you have North Texas is gone. And then, that was like their big matchup, was because there was a lot of, that's who they played in the championship. And then to go toe-to-toe with Alabama in the tournament games, you still have Cameron Karsich, who was on that squad that almost took down Alabama. You still have Gretchen Mead, who is a coach on the team, who I guarantee you, if you're any of the new, transfers, or if you're, any of the new, even the younger players, I guarantee you, Carrie Munn, Mary Martinez, Julia Espinal, or why am I drawing a blank on her name? Espinal, the new...
Espinal, yeah.
They are probably all sitting down with Coach Mead and what's your attack here? How do I, figure out, how do I fix this? How do I attack, these types of hitters? And that's key. I mean, yes, he would love to have Mead still in the pitching staff, but this is the next best thing. I mean, it's pretty much you have the ability to mold these pitchers to becoming the next. It's a consecutive line of, if Karsich's are 1 this season, and then you have Munn to follow, and then you have this long line of, because if you have 4 solid pitchers, a lot of teams have 1 top end pitcher, and then they have a fallback too. But the Blue Raiders pitching staff looks pretty deep.
Oh yeah.
And every player on their offense is returning, minus Laura Mueller. So the majority of the team is still here, and the majority of the team will be here to lead this team. And I still think this team has the potential to cause some noise, definitely in the conference, but also potentially make a run to the NCAA tournament.
I like it. I like the confidence. I'll say this about it, because they did tie against Walter State, and I know that might concern some people, but I think what's important to realize about this is that it's good to exercise patience and to understand that right now it's about getting reps, getting yourself prepared for the season. These games, while the results may look interesting or seem a little lopsided, at the end of the day, it's about what you learn and what you benefit from in the future. Remember, I think they're number 23 in the softball rankings, I want to say, in the preseason right now. So they're looking really solid. And if the people who know softball well believe in them, that shows that this is going to be a team that is going to succeed. And remember, last year they won the championship, so they know what they've got to do. Gretchen Mead and you got Coach Jeff Breeden. They have instilled a winning culture, and they know what they got to do to get a victory and get a championship. So I'm not worried at all. I think Ava Tepe, Riley Gilmore, Amaya Harris, Ansley Blevins, They're going to figure it out. This team is going to be dangerous come the spring.
Enough said.
All right, well, there you go. Before we go, because we talked quite a bit, 45 minutes, nice stuff here, but I do want to ask, do you guys have any fall break plans?
Yeah, sleep.
Sleep.
Watch football.
Without having to worry about, like, you know, I like, there's some days where, obviously I still gotta work, like, I'm trying to get, you know, I gotta get my money, but, like, I always envision those days, like, I had one Saturday, like, a couple Saturdays ago, where I didn't have any work. I get to wake up on, like, no alarms. It was, honestly, I guess I've gotten to that age where I'm a little old, and, I mean, obviously it's only Monday, Tuesday, so, I mean, you have a little bit, like, luckily I don't have Friday classes,
Yes.
so I have pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off of school, but, you know, as for plans, just trying to regain some energy, definitely. I'm not a big traveler at this time. Maybe not for Thanksgiving either. Just I'm a homebody. I'll stay.
A homebody?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to go mountain hiking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably gonna go to North Carolina. There's a lot of good mountains out there.
Sure.
Maybe try Mount Mitchell or Grandfather Mountain's a really good one. They got
Yeah.
that awesome bridge. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I know that area.
That's a beautiful area.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got some good mountains out there. Blue Ridge Parkway, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Gonna check that out. We might stop by Charlotte. I want to go to Carowinds. There's this really big.
No, I know you're gonna go. Well, you wouldn't be able to go there. You can try to do Scarowinds because that's what some of their big.
Impossible.
Yeah, that's one of their big things. I did Scarowinds a couple years ago. It's fun.
Yeah.
It honestly, first off, opening day.
Yeah?
Is insane.
Really?
No, I was stuck in traffic for, I kid you not, 4 hours.
4
I was a
hours?
mile and a half from the park. All
Good
right.
gosh.
No, it was lined out. It was insane.
Wow.
I'd never experienced anything like it.
Sounds
It
like the line to get into Dollywood.
Yeah, worse, man. Worse.
Worse?
It was, well, just 'cause, like I said, it was opening day for Scarowinds. So,
Wow.
yeah, if you're doing any Halloween plans, you better get there early.
Yeah. Gonna make sure to do that. But I want to ride Fury 325.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I want to go on that 325-foot thing. It's I just hope that the crack that they had doesn't resurface because we know how to crack it recently. But,
I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure they got the
Yeah.
technology and the engineers behind it. So.
I trust roller coaster manufacturers. They got it done. B&M, great manufacturer. They'll take care of their stuff. So yeah, I guess that's gonna do it, guys. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for coming by as always. It's
Roller
been
coaster
another good
all
episode.
access is the new
Coaster
roller
All
coaster all access.
Roller coaster all access. Always have
Six Flags, Busch Gardens, Kings Island. That's all we do.
That's all
yeah,
we do,
that's,
man.
Yeah, I've actually, funny enough, I can't remember the last time I've ever been on like an actual like
Roller coaster?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
you
know.
gotta go to an amusement park.
Well, like I've never been a big roller coaster guy.
Oh.
Like I'm more of like if I go to like, obviously I've been to Disneyland. I've never been to Disney World in Florida. Never been. But I've been to Disneyland and I've went on all the rides there. But I never, never been to a Six Flags. Oh, no, yeah, I've never been to Six Flags.
Never been to a Six Flags.
I've been to Knott's Berry Farm, for a little bit. That's about it though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting. We need to get you on a roller coaster sometimes. It's always a roller coaster here on CUSA All Access, but a fun
Absolutely.
one where the ride never ends, and we're gonna make sure this ride keeps going. So,
It's ending right now, but let's
well,
go.
it's ending, but it's gonna come back. All right, we're going back to the station soon, so make sure to stay tuned here on CUSA All Access. Thank you all so much for watching. For my main men over here, Ryan Martinlich, Mr. Matt Hayden, aka Baby Gator, I'm Dylan Simmons saying so long. Remember to always have an electric night.